Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. We're already halfway through the year, but we've only played 1/4 of all the video games released in 1982, so let's get to it. We last played The Sands of Egypt on the Atari home computer. Let's see what is next. We're going to the Commodore VIC-20, and this is Satellite Patrol. Satellite Patrol is one that's really hard to come by the artwork. I have the catalog by HES, but that's about it. So let's pop in and play Satellite Patrol, human-engineered software at the beginning of July 1982. We've seen quite a bit of releases by these guys, and here's the next one. Oh, right off the bat, is it asteroids? No way! Wait a second, it let me adjust the screen with the joystick. So I moved the joystick first, and then it was redirecting. And there's the sound. Okay, let me try this again. Because it allowed me to do a screen adjustment in the beginning, and we've never seen that before. Usually I don't get a response until I push F1, or I say I want to begin the game pushing a key, or I push the joystick button. That's fascinating. Okay, so let's try this again. Ready? And... nice! You just push the Commodore VIC-20 joystick button, and then you're in the game. Wow, and take a look at the scrolling. I believe that's shift register work that's allowing us to do the scroll on the outside. Wow, nice touch. One of the first times we've ever seen the VIC-20 do this. This is going to be a trick that's done a lot later. But, this is rare to see. Look at that in the background. And you might think this looks like asteroids. And it really doesn't really... I'm sure it looks like asteroids because the ship's the triangle and there's asteroids all around. But this plays more like Bosconian. It feels like I'm scrolling all over the place, as if I'm looking down on the ship and moving around. Or it's giving me the feel of that. Plus, the asteroids aren't breaking apart. But look at that. Wow, a freely scrolling VIC-20 game. Nice. We didn't have any other artwork for this one that I could find, so I'm curious to know what the top left grid has. It looks like it's showing us where the enemy locations are, but it's already taunting us. They're ranking us as beginners, so we have to keep playing until we get a higher ranking. But gameplay-wise, it's a multi-directional shooter. I can go everywhere, shoot the asteroids. Yeah, this would be a great space shooter on the VIC-20 for 1982. That's true, we haven't seen Time Pilot. You speak of the future. I wonder if that has to do with enemies on... Let's try going to that cross. 6, 5. I'm going to go to the top right. 4. Okay, so it's counting down. I think that's just where my location. Let's try going down to the plus. Looks like 8. Oh, we have an enemy with... Oh, homing... Oh. It's shooting off homing missiles, so it looks like we've got at least 2 different things to avoid. Asteroids and then other ships, but yeah, the cross in the top left, I'm not exactly sure what it is. Whenever we move in certain directions, it's supposed to help us get our bearings. Like, notice it has the 8. If I go to the top right, it'll start counting down. 7, 6, 5... Wait, 4, 3... Oh, yeah, it just went really, really fast. In a way, I was hoping it was leading us to a boss or a different encounter, but it looks like, so far, it's just asteroids and UFOs that shoot homing missiles at us. And from what I gathered in the catalog, this is the only route, and from gameplay I've seen online, the farthest you get is this. So there's no other extra levels. It is essentially this screen, but still the scrolling effect is really cool for the time. That's nice. That's right, stay in that Outrun sit-down arcade machine. Love it. So there you go. There's a quick taste of Satellite Patrol. Of all the games you could play on a home computer, that's pretty good. That's really impressive, especially with the border scroll on the outside. I'm going to say 3.5 stars of all the games you could play up to this point. It's really impressive because it's trying something that's a rarer game, which is the top-down scrolling shooter, which we're going to see a lot later when, obviously, from the chat, Time Pilot is going to make it even more popular. But Bosconians out there, I wonder if someone played that, and that's where they got the inspiration to Satellite Patrol. Very nice. So already having some fun in 1982. Let's see what is next. All right, time to go to the arcade and play Scorpion. Scorpion's one that was first available in Italy because it's by Zaccaria. It's also available in France. I don't know any other regions it was released for besides those two. Here is the artwork we have for Scorpion. Nice. Yeah, there we go, Zaccaria or Zaccaria. And yes, there's a Scorpion that we've played against. Flip it over in the back, we have 5 different phases. The thrilling path trip starts with killer insects standing in your way. Phase 2 is the spider surrounds you with deadly spider webs. And then Phase 3 is the cavern scorpion stage. Stage 4, the trip continues in the maze of brightly colored cobwebs. And then Phase 5 is the terrible Black Widow. Whoa, nice. So they got multiple bosses, or 2 large bosses, with examples of the cabinets down there. And there it is, the arcade cabinet. Now, Zaccaria, if you haven't seen the previous releases, they have this great aesthetic. The neon look is so cool. Even when we play games that we're familiar with, like Pac-Man, when they get released by Zaccaria, or if they produce them, they add this aesthetic to it that works great with black lights and looks really good for the arcade. For controls, we're using an 8-way joystick, and we have 2 buttons. We have missile and fire. There's our arcade marquee with an example of the screenshot. Oh, it kind of looks like that, right? From the picture. So for the other versions, we have one that was on Moon Cresta hardware, and then a bootleg that was done on Moon Cresta hardware called Arachnus, if you ever played that one. We're going to be playing the original, which is Scorpion. Time to go to the arcade and play in July 1982. Sadly, if you did this 2-player, you're not getting to shoot together. You have to take turns. Oh yes, this might be illegal. So the attract mode starts up. If you look at the top of the screen, very reminiscent to Scramble. It's telling us the stages that we can go to. Down at the bottom, we have fuel. I wonder if we're going to blow something up to get fuel. And this game plays a lot like Scramble, Mariner, or 800 Fathoms, if you want to check the links for those down below. And there's our point values. Yeah, look at the giant Scorpion and Black Widow. Well done on the pixel art. Time to put a coin in.
Thank you.
Oh, it was very quiet. I don't know if you can hear. He said thank you. We've heard that before, too.
Start button, please.
Yes, push start, but he said please. Let's go.
Start button, please.
All right, we are in. It is a left-to-right automatic scrolling affair. Scorpion is pretty much like we're taking keys from Scramble or Super Cobra. Which means it's another game that I want to keep playing. I want to see what the next phase is. I am not familiar and have not played this one before. Alright, so our fuel's going down. I don't see a way to unload them or get some more fuel. The shot button, though, the main one right here, is just a constant fire. I can hold the button down, and I have turbo. The game gives you turbo control, which is nice. And then check out the background. It's the star field, very reminiscent of Galaxian or Moon Cresta. But to tell you the truth, since I know the future, this game's really giving me vibes of Life Force or Salamander. Anybody with me? Being able to shoot destructible environments and then have this insect or biological motif. Oh yeah, pretty cool. Whoa, wait a second. Okay, so the game has switched up now. It is a totally different game. I'm moving around freely, but it's not scrolling automatically at all. It's going to a totally different game now. Play controls changed a little bit too. My crafting was a little bit slower, but wow, changing up the gameplay like this is a nice touch. And we're already on in the 3rd zone. Now my shot doesn't work. I have no way... Oh, now it works. Wow, yes, this really does remind me of R-Type. And R-Type doesn't exist. Look at that. And then I have, again, freedom to move around. I don't know how to blow this guy up. Maybe I gotta fire a missile down. Where's my missiles? There we go. I can't tell if I'm making a dent on the boss or not. I am shooting his head. Unless I'm supposed to shoot the claws. Wow. We've already played a lot of Scramble variants, a lot of horizontally scrolling shooters, and in the arcades they've been They've been really prevalent, but even still, this game feels really fresh and really fun. Oh, there we go. We got him. Now wait, fourth? No way. So fourth zone is allowing not auto-scrolling. Now we're able to freely move. Look at this, slowing down. So we decide we want to move the screen. Wow. The change in the gameplay is really where this game is shining and where it's at, because of the best arcade games. Wow. Fuel, quick. What do we do? Nice, just pick it up. And I believe we're on our last life, so we better make some smart moves, and then we die. If you wish to continue, press Start 1 and Start 2 together. Okay. Let's try. Oh, wait, money in, quick.
Thank you.
Did it work? It did! Oh, that's so cool. So you can put coins in, and it keeps the checkpoint on the phase you're on if you push both player 1 and player 2 start at the same time. Thankfully, we got both buttons, but we can continue where we left off. Nice, and we can have destructible environments. This is hitting so many marks of what the best arcade games need to be right now. Keeping it fresh by switching up how the game's played. Alright, so fuel's going down. We got the alarm. There's our fuel. Go pick it up. Let's take it down here in the bottom. What? I know, there's a lot of games that we're going to be seeing later this reminds me of. This is not allowing us to do checkpoints within the stages, it looks like. Notice that whenever I die and continue, I have to go back at the very beginning of the stage, which means when we do make it to the boss, if you die on the boss, you have to go all the way back and play it again. Wow, for a game that's in a region that most people aren't familiar with, this is so good. This is exceptional. Alright, we're making our way to the end. No, it's such a tight squeeze. Do we have to start all the way over at the beginning, or do they have a checkpoint? It is, so you have to really be careful. Once you die, this giant large ship has to fit between all the spaces. And you can also change up the route you want to take. Notice I'm at the top. Can we make it through there? Nice. Keep going on the top. It's kind of a tight fit. What, is that a scorpion on that? What? That was the boss. And then I know I'm not going to fit, so I'm going to make my way through this by shooting pieces away. I don't know if I'm going to make this. I don't think I can make it through the gap, and I don't want to try. Can I squeeze this way? No. Alright, let's try this again. So we have enough coins to put in, and pushing start on both player 1 and player 2. No, I accidentally pushed it on one. So if you push only start on player 1, then you go back to the beginning. But we've already seen up to 4 stages. By the 5th stage, that means you can see the last boss. So it's a 2-boss game, multiple stages, has the checkpoints. So cool. Yeah, but we have really good control over the ship. That is true. The pixel art is very well done, and this is just hitting too many good marks. I'm going to say of all the games we played up to this point, while Scorpion obviously is trying to take something that Scramble had, it's adding so many different multiple game modes. This is one of the best arcade games you could play for the time. Yes. Yeah, it has so many firsts available here, and it's also reminding me of games we're going to see in the future. So Scorpion is one of the best arcade games at the time. I really don't want this one to be missed out. Considering the context of everything we played up to this point, I'm saying 4.5 stars for Scorpion. Oh, I see in the chat we got 4.5. Manly's going 4.5. Yeah. Very well done. And with that, let's see our next game. It's time for a shootout at the OK Galaxy. We're going to start first on the Atari home computer. Let's take a look at the box. Now, this is a later release that includes almost home computers. This is another one by Avalon Hill. Avalon Hill is kind of like the LJN of the computer world. They just want their game to be on every single home computer that's out there. It doesn't matter if there's a home computer that exists, they want their game on it. Yes. Interesting front of the box, not really too telling you about the game. It's just a crosshair in front, but it is letting you know it's a space game that we're going to play. Let's flip it over on the back. This one is the cassette version. Microcomputer Games programmed this. And this is, it's giving you some story and background like we do with other Avalon Hill games. Avalon Hill originally did strategy games, and here is them doing another, let's do something more action-based. You can see on the front and the top left, it's their action or arcade pack. And flip it back on, you can see this is available on several different home computers. We're going to play this first on the Atari, and it was also available on Apple II, TRS-80, TRS-80 color computer, lots of different systems. Shootout in the OK Galaxy. Here's the other artwork we have for Shootout at the OK Galaxy. Besides the box, here's the ad you would have seen at the time. Bomber Attack, we've already seen, and that one again is a subpar arcade game. But Shootout, we'll see what happens. Are the shields up? Energy level? Check. Azimuth set? Yep. It may sound like the latest summer space movie thriller, but it's preparing you to play the new Avalon Hill game Shootout at the OK Galaxy. There's the cassette we're going to pop in. Avalon Hill. And here's the manual, the first version of the manual, or one of the closest versions to the beginning. The Articles of Federation set forth in 2935 were a great step forward for the member states of the old Terran Empire. As part of the Articles, each member planet was granted equality, and all others in military force was outlawed as a means of settling disputes. This worked well for hundreds of years, but in 3247, the Federation Senate's Fleet Authorization Bill struck the fleet a deadly blow, imposing unheard of fleet reductions. It was reduced 20% and blah, 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 blah. This well-meaning action was greeted with anticipation in the barbarian empires that surrounded the Federation. In Shootout at the OK Galaxy, you are the commander of the Federation starship Demona in Patrol Zone OK. This zone protects the approaches of the most populous planets in the Federation, including Terra itself. So from the front of the box, it makes you think you're playing a Western, but you're not. It's like a Western twist, or they're trying to make the story like a Western twist with the OK Galaxy. So the whole point of the game is we're supposed to defend Terra and the populous planets of the Federation. When the game's loaded, you pick a difficulty level between 1 and 15, and Apple computers require, 2-digit entry. Thanks, Apple. The display screen will normally contain the following information. It has a view from inside your starship. You have a first-person view for this game. You'll see a set of crosshairs. These are your laser sights. To destroy a raider, they must be centered in these sights when your beam strikes him. You also have an indicator panel and the coordinates of the sector you're currently located in. You have the heading and azimuth, which I'm not familiar with until this game, to indicate your direction of travel and orientation in relation to the general plane. Sounds like a bunch of science mumbo-jumbo, but they're almost like Avalon saying it's an arcade game, but we're going to sprinkle in a little bit of strategy and a little complexity. Information from your internal sensors will tell you things like how many enemy ships are in the sector and the surrounding sectors. You also have a map of the entire patrol zone, and you can push R or M if you're on the TRS-80. Why would you have R? M should be the map. So TRS-80 has it right. And then you also have the position of the raider ship currently in sensor range of your ship. You also have Federation territory. That's where the barbarian raiders are attempting to move, and it starts in the boundary of your map. If you allow any of them to enter Federation territory, you lose the game. So you got to keep them out. Then we have our movement. Your patrol zone is a rectangular area that is divided into sectors. To move into one sector, you have to enter hyperspace. So the sector you're in and you're flying in first person, you stay in until you want to warp to a new one. Your direction of travel is indicated by two numbers ranging from 0 to 7.99. And this is where the game gets overly complex. One of the numbers is your heading. It's a measure of the direction of travel parallel to the galactic plane. The other number is your azimuth. It's a measure of the angle of your direction of travel above and below the galactic plane. Hyperspace can only be achieved if your azimuth is set to 0. Once it's 0, then you change your heading by moving in the direction of what points it says. So for example, if you look at this diagram of showing you the numbers, if your azimuth is 0 and you move your heading to 4, when you do hyperspace, you will hyperspace to the next quadrant to the left. Yeah, it's very strange. Oh, 360 up. Okay, so you're familiar with the term. I was not familiar with it before this, but they make it too complex for a game that's supposed to be an arcade game. So in a way, it's slightly simulation of what it would be like to fly in space. So after you determine how you want to do hyperspace and how to move around, you can also increase shields and firing your laser beams through your crosshairs. You also have life support, and all this is based on energy. So as you play the game, move around, hyperspace, lasers, everything, it all depends on energy. And you lose the game if you lose your energy all the way down. Also, you'll lose the game if your vessel's hit and your shield strength is reduced to 0. How do you win then if you can lose all these ways? Well, you can also lose if any of the enemies enter Federation territory. You can win if you destroy all the raiders that enter your sector and you're the victor. Federation is saved by your veritable brilliance. So just beating everybody up. And that's determined by the difficulty you say in the beginning. And then we have a list of commands, very, very helpful. Thank you so much. Look at this. If you're on the Atari, that's what we're going to be following. R for the map, which is very strange. And then Apple controls. And then if you're on keyboard or paddle. Cool. You can play paddle on the Apple? That's nice. And it explains what raiders are. Raiders are I believe the supply ship is plus. And then all the enemies are numbers. And then it has map explanations as well, with the rest of the manual telling us how to load, whether we're playing on cassette, on the Apple, on the Commodore PET, all the computers in the solar system. That's what Avalon Hill wants. They even found the games. Avalon Hill's one of the few that found the computers in Japan and said, quick, we need to get our games on those computers too. Let's pop in and play Shootout at the OK Galaxy by Microcomputer Games in the beginning of July 1982. Yes. It is a true three-dimensional game. Now, we've seen other games that do this, but they just don't have the amount of complexity that Shootout at the OK Galaxy does. This is what they call a space combat game. All right, level of difficulty. We want to go with 1. This screen, by the way, is reminiscent of Avalon Hill. Keeps it right to the point. All right, 20 raider ships entered your patrol zone. If we raise the difficulty, there'd be a lot more than this. And on the left gives us our sector, energy, shields, and so forth. So if I push R, you can see this is the map. Coming up on the screen, we are the... Wait, there we go. We're the plus symbol, and we got ships over on the left side. So right now, this sector we're in, it looks like... Is there nobody here? Let's see. I have my Atari VCS... No, we got one ship here. So there's one that I'm going to try to find. The Atari VCS joystick that's plugged in. There he is! Him, and we got him. And so you can see on the bottom left, this sector is clear. Now if you wanted to go to the next sector, which is south, there's another ship we can take up. But to do that, we got to get our azimuth to 0. So I'm following the left side scale, going all the way down to 0. Come on, nice and easy there. Now if you want to go to a heading of 6, I need to change the heading to 6. So keeping the azimuth 0, I'm moving, again, all this on the Atari VCS joystick. Get it all the way to 6. Got it. Now I can push H, hyperspace, and it's going to say how far do we want to go. We just want to go 1. I want to go down 1 sector to get that next ship. And engage. Hyperspace. It does appear that way, yes, how it was programmed. Okay, we're here. Now we're in the next sector. We got 1 ship to find, so I'm going to fly around. The controls are reversed, which is refreshing for a space combat game. If I'm pulling up on my Atari VCS joystick, the crosshair goes down. So it feels like I'm flying in space. In a way, I'd call this Diet Space Raiders. Like, it's not a super complicated Space Raiders. But in the way they have the control and moving around is a little more complicated. All right, let's try our luck with... You can see our energy on the left, the 175, so we're doing okay. So let's do, again, take the azimuth down to 0. And we want our heading to go 6 again. Here we go, hyperspace. How far do we want to go? 1 sector. We're going down south to the 5 ships. Let's see if we survive. Oh, Live Fighters. I love it. Yes, it is the Live Fighters. It's not the first, too. The very first one we ever saw was on the Commodore PET, but they had the balls to call the game Star Wars. It was not even a real Star Wars. Wait, where'd all the ships go? They're gone. We moved 1 sector, I thought, right? All right, let's try it again. And actually, let's go ahead and stop this version. That is the quick taste of the Atari home computer version. Now, Shootout of the OK Galaxy is not the best experience you can have for a space combat game. It does well enough, but it's honestly adding unnecessary complexity when it comes to moving around. If you want to play an arcade game from the cockpit, you want to be able to just move and shoot without having to determine coordinates as much. So I'm going to say of all the games you can play on a home computer, it still doesn't hit any marks higher than average, considering the other games that are out there. So I'm going to say 3 stars for Shootout at the OK Galaxy. At least on this computer. Let's go to the next one. Here's Shootout at the OK Galaxy on your Commodore VIC-20. Yes. Captain Kirk is really at home now. The same box we saw before, this was available, I think the same look as all the other boxes. It was available both on cassette and tape. Oh, Errol's going 2.5. Yeah, I can see subpar as well. It's close to that time. And then as far as artwork on the VIC-20, everything's the same, yeah, including the ad that we have. Yeah, super simple. However, the manual is a different one. This is the updated manual with some screenshots, but we're going to be saving this manual for whenever we see it on the color computer. So let's pop it and play Shootout at the OK Galaxy on your Commodore VIC-20. This is made by Bill Hood, published by the Avalon Hill Company. And this one, I'm going to cheat a little bit. Rather than going through that, we're going to load up and go right into the battle. Go! So here we go. We're on the Commodore VIC-20. Still on difficulty level 1. You can see we got 2 ships in this sector. Oh, we got him. He's not a live fighter, though. What would that be? But we found him. Over on the left, the longer we stay around, the energy starts to go down. So we got one more ship in this sector. There he is. Got him. I can't believe how fast I found him. Go. Okay, we have it. Now we can do the same thing we did before. We have to drop our azimuth to 0. We got it. Now I want to go to the right. So that means we need to have our heading at 0. So let's drop this to 0. I'm doing all this with the VIC-20 joystick too. It works really well. Yes, it does kind of look like Klingon. Bird of prey. Very fitting right now. All right, so we got our heading and azimuth ready. And then what we do is the same as before. Hit H. And we want to go 1 to the right. Or 1 to 0. Oh, hyperspace. And we're here. So the ship is somewhere. It doesn't tell us. Wait, is that it? Some of the stars fly by and they almost look like the ship. They're about the same size. So in a way, it's a watered-down Space Raiders. It's a watered-down Star Trek variant. It's removing the simplicity and adding complexity where it doesn't need to be. I still wouldn't call it bad, but it's just not anything that's very as impressive as the other games we've seen for the time. Where is this guy? The Klingon ripoff is hiding somewhere. I still got nothing. And let's break this game. There we go. So that's the Commodore VIC-20 version. Still, I'd say it's about 3 stars of all the games you could play on a home computer. A noble attempt, but Avalon Hill should stick with strategy games rather than these arcade ones, considering the other ones out there. All right, and our last release. Shootout at the OK Galaxy for the color computer. Now, this one I will show you. The box fits even better. And the artwork should be about the same. I have a different ad that would have been available, I believe, in Rainbow. And you can see the other ones that we've seen. One of the best ones, though, was Voyager 1. If you look at the top. Breakthrough, I don't believe we've seen that one yet. Or VC yet. We'll be seeing those pretty soon. With the same cassette tape. Oh, that's true. Gato. We'll be seeing that one, too. Here's the manual. And this is the newer manual than the one we saw previously. All it does is add a few color. You can see same story we had before, Shootout at the OK Galaxy, but it's pretty much the same the same information, but they change up what the controls are because this adds even more computers. You can see it has the Atari VIC-20, and this one has a computer that we haven't seen yet. So pretend you haven't seen that computer. You can use the joystick on the TRS-80 color computer. Yes, a Shootout. No, haven't missed it yet. It is coming up next. All right, let's pop in and play Shootout at the OK Galaxy. Ported over by Brit Monk at the beginning of July 1982. I think we saw it first available July 15th, if you wanted to be technical with it. All right, this one is on BASIC. Let's go. Way to play some Shootout. I kind of would feel misleading buying the game thinking it's a Western theme, but it's not. It's a space trying to be Western. Now it sounds like we're doing Close Encounters of the Third Kind. All right, so press the right joystick button. And what level of difficulty? We're going, let's try 2 this time. Let's be ambitious. Look at this. Wow. Now this feels even more responsive than the other computers we played today. Now we still have the azimuth represented by AZ down on the bottom, and then our heading. And then over on the left side shows you our location. Now we should have M for map. Whoa, the map is an overlay. That's awesome. Okay, so we are located, I believe, in the plus area. So we're at the top. It looks like there's a ship below us, which is the heading of 6. So if no one's here, that's so cool, though. Look at that. The map just appears and goes away. That's awesome. Oh, it is. That's right. It is both. Thanks for the correction, Curtis. Yeah, it is both. All right, so let's go with heading of zone 0 out our azimuth, and then we want a heading to go into 6, right? Yeah, we want to go down 1, so I got to get my heading to 6. Now that we're there, and hyperspace, going 1 square away. Let's go! Engage! Whoa, nice touch. We're getting closer and closer to 2001: A Space Odyssey. Okay, we're in. Do we ready to blow them up? Man, that was fast. This one feels way better than the other two, as far as the responsiveness and the look at the lasers. That's so cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch it up. Check our map. Looks like we got someone to our left. So I'm following again on the map, holding down the M button, and then we're located as the plus in the top right of the map, and then the number 1, it means there's 1 enemy ship. So that means I got to go to the left, which means a heading of 4. If you're confused, I completely understand. That's why I would say the problem with the game is of the confusingness of it. All right, so let's zero out our azimuth, and let's move our heading to 4, going this way. There it is, got it to 4, and hyperdrive, going 1 square to the left. This should lead us to 1 enemy again to the left. Nice effect. It's essentially the same game. This one just feels like it plays a little bit better. Look at this. There's 2 ships or 1 coming at us. Oh, go, go, go. I don't think I can get... He's going so fast. Look how fast he wraps around the screen. There you go. And we do have some particles that fly away. That's really nice. That is very true. Yep. All right. So that is another quick taste of how the game is. You essentially just move a sector to sector in the main area, blowing everybody up. When you blow everybody up, then you got it, and you win the game. All right, so Shootout the OK Galaxy. Because of the Coco, I'm going to say let's give it a notch above. That's a 3.5-star game. You'd have a lot more fun on this one. Notice how it was responding faster, and the space combat was a little bit more, it was a little better than we had before. So I'll give it a notch above. If I really could, I'd do 3.25, but I still say 3.5 stars of all the computer games you could play. Yes. Oh, that's true. We haven't seen it yet, but we will. All right, and with that, let's see what our next game is after this commercial break.
Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, yes.
Now a great video game.
Yes,
A
great video game. Look at that, exactly like the film. Oh, yeah. We got to battle this. Oh, man, it's the perfect fight, too. Bring the battle hub. What is he doing? Just going to play some Empire Strikes Back. All right, I'm going to have to play Star Wars that way. Just playing my Star Wars game. This is Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back for the Atari Home VCS, the Atari Video Computer System. Let's take a look at the box. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the very first time we have an official Star Wars game. This is the very first time that we have a Parker Brothers video game that's on a console or anything else besides a handheld. This is so many firsts. It's also a game that is, even though it's Star Wars, and we've seen lots of other Star Wars ripoffs, it's doing what's the most popular movie right now, which is Empire Strikes Back. That's right. Yes, we have. We already have. Where he got famous for the llamas, apparently. All right, let's flip it over on the back. 32 game variations. Imperial walkers approaching the Rebels' power generator on the ice planet Hoth. You can prevent them by blowing up these AT-ATs. AT-ATs, whatever you'd like to call them. When your snowspeeder's damaged land on the valley for a quick repair, you control everything with the Atari VCS joystick, and you might even gain the Force. May the Force be with you. Yes, yes, it will. Look at that. So cool. Let's see the other artwork we have for Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. This is an awesome game. Here we go. I would be so hyped right now. Empire Strikes Back comes out. They now refer to the New Hope as Episode 4, and you have these 2 Star Wars games. Everyone's all about Star Wars, and if you were able to get this and play this, it would be the biggest deal. Here's the ad you would have seen. Bring the battle home. Yes, we are. And we also have the cartridge. This is the first Parker Brothers release on the Atari VCS and the first video game that Parker's ever done. So it looks different. This is another third-party publisher and developer. So the Parker Brothers did this in-house or hired people to do in-house. And the cartridge is very reminiscent of making it look different than the other Atari games. I believe this brings our third-party count of people doing games for the Atari up to 5. So this is the 5th third-party publisher. And it doesn't stop there. And there is one of the ads you would have seen in your local store with another example of the cartridge. And yes, let's go. He's ready to play some Atari. And an example of the screenshot. Here's the manual for Star Wars. The first official Star Wars. Does it say anything that they know they're the first ones? The Empire's revenge has begun. Right now, an army of Imperial walkers is marching toward the Rebels' power generator on the ice planet Hoth. If they reach it, the Rebel base will blow sky high. To stop them, the Rebels must rely on their missile-firing snowspeeders. You get to fly the snowspeeders. And in the hands of a skillful commander, you can destroy the mighty walkers. Climb your snowspeeder and be prepared to meet the first of your deadly enemies. The object of the game is to destroy as many Imperial walkers as you can before they reach the power generator at the end of the battlefield. So just blowing them up. Flying as the snowspeeder. They have the difficulty switch, makes the landing pad smaller or larger, but that's about it. If you have it on your system. And then there's the joystick to fly around. Oh man, so cool. Our battlefield is the ice planet of Hoth. It uses 8 TV screens wide. The radar band monitors the entire playfield. To play, you got 5 snowspeeders or 5 lives. At the start of the game, the first snowspeeder is displayed in the ice zone. The remaining on-deck snowspeeders are displayed just under the radar band. To start the action, fly your snowspeeder down the screen, so moving left. And so the screen's going to be scrolling left and right a la Defender, which, by the way, we haven't seen the official Defender yet on the Atari. This came out before the official Defender. There's been other variations of Defender for home consoles, but not official Defender. And then they explain the radar band at the bottom. Now, we played another one, Chopper Command by Activision. That's another one that had the radar that you could use. But this one, I would say, is a little bit more polished. As you lead, the lead walker reaches the right end of the radar band, it'll blow up the power generator and end the game. You don't get any animation for that. It just don't let them get to the right side of the screen. How do you destroy them? Well, you get tow cables and... Wait, what? No tow cables? How are you going to take them out without tow cables? You got to take them out with the tow cables. It takes 48 hits to the body to destroy an Imperial walker. Each group of 8 hits weakens the walker one stage and changes color, and it goes from gray to blue to purple to red to yellow, and then boom, it blows up. It starts going slower whenever it changes color too. A snowspeeder can fly around the back of the walker and attack it from the rear. A snowspeeder cannot weaken or destroy a walker by hitting its legs. There's a quicker way, and that is the tow cable, right? No, it's not the tow cable. It's the bomb hatch. Every now and then, there's going to be a colored square that'll pop up, and if you hit the bomb hatch, it's instant destruction on the Imperial walker. That's right. You can only do the tow cable in the movie. Sorry, kids. Oh, man. When you destroy the Imperial walker, a new one will enter the battlefield. Each new walker will be tougher than the last one and will walk faster, fire missiles more rapidly, and just get more and more difficult. Imperial walkers fire deadly missiles, and man, they do. I remember them flying behind. Somehow they're shooting directly behind them, too. When the snowspeeders hit, it changes color as well. So your snowspeeder is going to change color to let you know your damage is ramping up. So what you do is you repair by going in any one of the valleys. Go down to below, and your snowspeeder will change back to its original color, and you'll be at full power. Great example of the screenshots showing the gameplay. And then if the snowspeeder is destroyed, it explodes. Stay out of the walker's line of fire, or you can try to shoot down your walker's missiles. That's right, you can shoot down a missile if it gets close without hitting you. But that's if it's using, I believe, the bomb, the smart bombs. That's right. And you can even get the Force. If you keep your snowspeeder alive for 2 minutes, the Force will be with you. Your snowspeeder will begin flashing and you'll hear the Rebels theme song. The Force will be with you for 20 seconds. During this time, your snowspeeder is all-powerful. You'll be invulnerable. You cannot be damaged. It cannot be destroyed. When you gain the Force, move in and out of the Imperial Walker and fire away. I just remember that music playing whenever the game starts. And then the game ends whenever you leave the Imperial Walker reaches the power generator or when your last snowspeeder is destroyed. So basically, you just keep going till the end. There's 32 game variations here. They add things like smart bombs where the bomb hatch that can be used to incinerate a walker will release this bomb that will follow you around. I hated those things. And then you also have solid walkers, which means you need to do some precision flying. You cannot fly your snowspeeder into the walker's body, although you can fly through its legs. If you do, your snowspeeder will blow up, but without weakening the walker's 3 colors. So it just makes it more difficult to fly around. Oh, yes. Oh, the arcade game. Oh, I'm very excited for that one, too. This is the first one, first of any Star Wars game that was official. If you want to play a 2-player game, you can't play together. It's alternate play. You take turns, and the same rules apply. Yeah, alternately until the end. And then they have some hints and tips, strategy hints, and then you can join the official Star Wars fan club. Wait, official Star Wars fan club with Parker Brothers? Or no way, it looks like the real Star Wars fan club. Someone fill that out now. And then they have the warranty, don't care. And then after the warranty, we got scores. Game selection box shows you the 1 or 2 player game. They give you a little symbol on the screen, which is nice. And they have the key right there telling you, like all the Atari games. Very, very helpful, especially when you grew up like me and didn't have the manual and had to guess. Oh, yes. All right. So we have other versions that were available in Europe or in North America. Let's play the first one. It is Parker Brothers, the beginning of July 1982. Rex Bradford and Samuel Kelman. Way to go, guys. I'm going to lower this a little bit just so we don't get blown away. Now, as usual, the game boots up and it goes into an attract mode, but it's not playing. You actually pick the game mode you want. Look at the bottom. We got game modes 2, 3, 4, 5, 32 variations for this. So you can do 1 or 2 players, and there's no guest here with me, but it doesn't matter because it's alternate play anyway. So you'd be taking turns roughly the same way. Let's do game mode 1 and reset. All right, we're in. Obviously, it looks like a snow speeder, but take a look at the bottom radar we have. And we also have ability to fly left and right. Controls feel really smooth. I can fly through the walker because the game mode hasn't been turned on. There's the bomb hatch that popped open. Let's see if I can get it. Nope, not this time. The best context I can explain for this game is I originally played this game after later Star Wars games, so I was underwhelmed when I first played this. Right now, playing this, though, this is very solid. After all the games we've played on the channel and where we've come from, this is awesome. I'm going to go down and repair. Let's find a valley. Oh, you can hear him walking. There we go, got us healed up. They even have the animation of the... Yes, we got the Force! Die! The excitement of this game coinciding with Star Wars, and considering on the home console, we haven't seen that many games that allow you to have this kind of freedom to fly around. However, I would say, while it has the feeling of Defender, it just doesn't... Oh, that's true. It is much better than that one. I say that one's a piece of junk, but I'll wait until we play it in the context of the channel to see if it still is a piece of junk. Yes, this makes... this honestly makes me want to play more licensed games. On the Atari, the only other big one that we've seen that was licensed is Superman. But it wasn't based on a movie property, it was more like a comic book. I don't know if it was... It was based on the TV show. I mean, the movie. Alright, we're going to the end. Look at that. Scroll speed, though. And nice touch showing the different layers scrolling by. They don't have like the color gradients. Oh, we got him. Nice. They don't have the color gradients that Activision does, but still really, really fun. to get him to look up. Go, no, destroyed. And I think our last ship, here it is, last one. Yeah, the theme song, when they first started the game up, that was one of the biggest things, because here on the channel, we played other Star Wars ripoffs, and they played a small tune of a part of the song, but it wasn't very good. And when you hear this, it's like the floodgates open to, I want to see more Star Wars games. I want to see more licensed games. This makes me excited to see more movie games or TV show games. How wrong we are, though. I'm just thinking at that. All right, let's heal ourselves up. Got it. Oh, we got a big hit on us. See, they're firing faster and they're getting tougher. Let's go back for another one. Got it. Nice. And that sweet spot, when you get the port open. Yeah, so we have the force. Go, 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 go. Oh, I thought I got the fort that time. That is true. If we ever get to Kyle Katarn, that is one of my favorites. Look at that. Nice. All right, so the walkers just keep on coming. Can we follow the bullet all the way down? Look at this. 8 screens. Our snowspeeder is so fast. All right, I'm going to go back to the manual just to do one last thing. Using the grid, I want to turn on everything. The solid walkers and smart bombs on the... let's do the easiest. So we'll do game mode 13 for one player. Let's give that a shot. So switching up the game mode, going to game mode 13, unlucky number 13, and hit reset. Yes, we do, GSE stream. Seen the smart bomb yet. No! Yeah, we smashed into it and die. So you can't run into the body. You gotta be a little more careful. Alright, so I'm looking at the chat for ratings. I've seen some 5s, but I saw the 4 or 2. Oh, yeah, really difficult when you have to fly without smashing into the body. Based on everything we've seen to this point, this is a great game. This is a lot of fun to play. The other thing, too, because of everything else we've played up to this point for home consoles, this feels like they didn't just phone in to make a game. This feels like it was done as well as they could to make you feel like you're in a Star Wars game or play a Star Wars game. It felt like they were giving fan service to the fans to make this. Again, the body of the AT-AT is so crazy. All right, so there you go. Of all the games we could play up to this point, this is pretty good. I'm going to say of the consoles you could play up to this point, I'm going to go 4 stars for Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. It is not the best game you could play on a home console. It's not in this range, but it is a very, very good game. Surprisingly good, and I'm surprised myself having gone from playing it as a young kid that played newer Star Wars games and thought it was bad. But now, after everything we've seen, this is awesome. 4-star game, considering all the other console games out there. And it's Star Wars. It's awesome. It's also getting just points because of how cool it is to have Star Wars, and it feels like Star Wars. Oh, that's right. I was supposed to play like this. Like the guy in the ad. Just playing some Star Wars. All right, let's see our next video game. We're leaving the new cool game we played on our VCS. We're back in the arcades for Sega's biggest hitter, one of the biggest hitters yet. This is Sub-Rock 3D. It's not one of the Sega games that you remember from the name, but it is a very seminal one. Let's take a look at the artwork for Sub-Rock 3D. Yes, that's a good point. That was programmed in-house by Parker Brothers. Or they got people to do the programming for them. This is Space Submarine. The first time you would have seen it in Japan, and then flip it over in the back, we have the examples of 2 different arcade cabinets. The one on the left, the sit-down one, that's the way to go. So cool. Yeah, there it is. Look at that in all its glory. It's beautiful. It's got all the curves. It's got look at the technology on the side. It makes you feel like it's something space age, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to play something in space. If you look in the center, this is viewed through a periscope, because you're supposed to be playing as a futuristic sub, and you're looking through the periscope to make all the attacks, and then you hold your hands on the handlebars. Look at that. And people can see from the inside, because this, ladies and gentlemen, is the very first video game to have stereoscopic 3D. Don't put on your 3D glasses. You don't need the 3D glasses. This is stereoscopic 3D, the very first of its kind. So if you zoom in on the inside, you can kind of see the handles that you'll hold on to with the shooting mechanic. Yeah, all you need to do is move around and then fire. There's the example of the arcade marquee. You bet, anytime. And here's another advertisement flyer you would have seen for Sub-Rock 3D. Excellent job, Sega. With an example of the screenshot. Here's the manual that would have been with the release when it came to North America. Sega brought it over lots of places. Still 2 different arcade cabinets. And let's see if they tell us anything about the game itself. We have all the details. Don't care about installation or care of operation. Make sure you got all the parts there. Look at this. First time you're going to put your eyes through a visor. In a way, it's kind of similar to Battlezone, where it's meant to be a virtual environment. But this one is actually using stereoscopic 3D. It is true 3D. It's an overwhelming 3-dimensional game with a dual scene system for battles in the ocean or in space. The graphics and sound effects are very exciting. You command a sophisticated craft, and by using the elevation controls, you move it up and down so it can be operated underwater or in space. The periscope type viewer can be viewed from side to side, enabling you to attack more enemies. Press the fire button to shoot down an enemy. Dynamic stereo sound system creates an amazingly realistic surround effect. Many strangely shaped crafts, missiles, UFOs suddenly zoom in to attack you, and when they're in their sights, you can shoot first and survive. The 3-dimensional effect of fast-moving crafts and missiles combined with terrifying explosions seemingly right up close are truly bewildering. To destroy the barrier guarding the enemy command ship, you must hit it in the very center. After blowing up the command ship, you proceed to another round. The bonus points remaining will be added to your score, and you get a high score that you can put in. The play ends when you lose your last ship. It's a first-of-its-kind 3D game, and that is very true. This is so big. And there we go. We got the scoring, too. We got to go for the 1,000-point ship in the background. Probably the fastest one. Or mystery number of points ship. That's the one. And we even have a boss, a command ship. Nice. And then they go into the power consumption and so forth, which we will not check out. We're going to the arcade to play Sub-Rock 3D. This is by Matsushita Electric, published by Sega Enterprises or Sega Gremlin in North America in the beginning of July 1982. This is another arcade game I cannot do justice. If you could play this in real life, you would get the 3D effect. If you could play this in real life, you'd get the surround sounds in the sit-down cabinet. This is one of those full packages where Sega's trying to give you an arcade experience, not just a space shooter game. So imagine all these pixels and all this scrolling coming at you in 3D. I mean, look at that. It's another one of those Sega games where they're doing the sprite scaling. Look at this. The sprites are going in and out, back and forth. And it'd be so cool to see it in 3D. All right, let's put a coin in. And push start. And we're going to raise this up so you can hear all the sound. It allows you to go down at the bottom to fire off torpedoes at the ships. And then you can go to the top, if we don't die, you can go to the top and then fire off missiles at the UFOs. So you have a lot more range than just on the ground. But this is essentially what you do in the game. Dodging and destroying everything. But it's the kind of game you probably spent 50 cents on just to have the experience of I'm playing a game that's immersed in 3D. Look at this. Look at this sprite scaling. We've already seen games like Turbo do the very beginning of sprite scaling, but this would blow you away. Look at all this stuff flying at the screen. It has a day and night cycle too. I don't think I have any limitations for torpedoes or shots. Uh-oh, the mystery vessel. Where is it? Look at the vessels on the ground are coming left and right. Oh, man, they got me. While this is the experience in complete 3D, oh, nice. We can put our initials in. How does this? Oh, cool. It works with going up and down. Moving your periscope up and down works great. There we go. We got the high score because we're the first ones to ever turn on the system. Amazing. I'm going to zoom this in just to get a better view of the screen. There. Now go. This is one of the arcade cabinets that I have never seen in real life. The sit down, getting the full surround sound experience. It requires a lot of maintenance because any of the, like a stereoscopic 3D game from 1982, it takes a lot to keep going. Wow. And bear in mind, the only other game we've seen sprite scaling do this was Turbo. There's no such thing as Space Harrier. There's no such thing as Outrun. None of that stuff. This right here is like top of the line. You even get the effect of seeing your missiles fly away from you in 3D. But it doesn't give you the feeling that you're in a virtual space like Battlezone. This doesn't feel like I'm moving around a world freely. It feels more like a rail shooter, if that makes sense. Oh, you did? Oh, wow. Now, the gameplay itself is just a rail shooter, but I'm going to tell you, it's still one of the best arcade games you could play up to this point. I'm not going to go full on 5 stars because the gameplay is slightly simplistic, but the technology for this is top-notch. So I'm going to say 4.5 stars of all the arcade games you can play up to this point. It is up there as one of the best. That's true. And the cost, 50 cents. I mean, you could spend a quarter and play a long game of Galaxian. All right, so that's 5.5 or 4.5 stars for Subrock 3D. It's now time to put our video game playing on pause. Hit the space key, hit the break key. Tune in next episode for us flipping through the history of the arcade. That's it for today, and like I always say, the Force will be with us, always. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are Perpetually Retro, and we will catch you next time.